So literally, wake up, lights going. I'm like, oh my God. I turn around, it's a police car at my grandma's house.
Can't get it out of my head. Miss her, kiss her, love her. That girl is poison.
What is up, y'all? It's your girl Celia and I am back with another video. Today we are getting into the story time of when I snuck out the house and I end up getting caught. Okay, end up getting caught and she called the police on me. So if you'd like to see this video, please like, comment, subscribe, and let's get into the story time. As y'all know, just a disclaimer, all these story times, please just know I'm just sharing a piece of my life with y'all. A lot of my story times I learned from the experience. They never happen again. So this is one of those stories where I was young, just doing whatever, and I learned from it and it never happened again. But yeah, it happened, so why not tell y'all? But it was just a learning experience. This happened years ago. I was a freshman in high school. I want to say a freshman and sophomore in high school. At this time, but mind y'all, I wasn't in a relationship, but I think we were on like a break, or we wasn't like dealing with each other at this time for like a couple months, or you know, whatever the case may be. We weren't together. And so I was exploring my options in school because my high school boyfriend didn't come until like my end of sophomore, like junior year, I believe. And so this was more of like my freshman year, because this happened with a specific friend that was more of my friend, like freshman and like early sophomore year. I'm a freshman and my friend is a freshman. We both play, you know, sports. So we aren't really known as freshmen, but people know us. So at that time, again, we were being so fast. So she was like dealing with this football player. And so she was dealing with him like on some for real stuff. Now, mind y'all, at this time, I never had like sex or none of that. So this was just like a kiddie type of interaction that I had with him. Like, remember that. So anyways, my friend was dealing with this senior and he had a friend that wanted me. And so I'm like, you know, I thought it was cool. I'm like, oh my God, to be with the seniors, like, oh my God, that's just what, you know, as a freshman, like a lot of freshman young women, young ladies think like that. Like, oh my God, he's a senior, he's a football player, like whatever the case, whatever. So one day we end up going to my grandmother's house because if you don't know, I literally love my grandma to death. That is my rock. So I spent a lot of time with her, you know, doing my school year, doing like summers, whatever the case may be. So this particular time was like a weekend where I went to go spend like some time with her or whatever. And so this is just crazy. So like when y'all hear this, y'all gonna be like, what the heck? Anyway, so I went to her house and I asked her, I'm like, hey, can, you know, I invite my friend over? Boom, boom, boom. So she's like, yeah, you know, because she met her. She's like, yeah, whatever. So we go to my grandmother's house and we're there. And I remember this so specifically because I was eating some fruit, right? And the way my grandma's house was set up back in the day was her living room was like in her den. So I got to give you the layout to show you like what is just crazy. Her den was like the living room. Okay. Her living room now, like, so when you first walk in, that was like the kitchen area, like the area we sat and ate at. Okay. That was that area, the first area. And then when you walk in, she has her kitchen and then she has her den, which was the living room at that time. She had 2 bedrooms, a 3 bedroom. She had 3 bedrooms maybe at that time. And then the backyard by the den. So we were in the den. I was eating fruit, whatever. And she's like, hey, you know, like, you want to have some company or whatever. I'm like, and I immediately tell her, like, I ain't gonna lie, like, my grandparents, they be up and active. Like, they gonna be up. So she's like, no, it ain't gonna be like nothing cool. It's gonna be like really quick. They just gonna come over and we could just go outside and say, hey. So she was just gonna go outside by herself. Cause she was like, yeah, you know, my dude, he coming over, the football player, the senior. He was like, yeah, she was like, yeah, my dude coming over, boom, boom, boom. So I'm gonna go outside and say hey to him. Cool, like, that's fine. You do what you do. Mind you, at this time, I'm still on some kitty stuff. I might have been texting a dude, like, what's up, da-da-da, whatever. But it ain't been nothing like that, cause I wouldn't know that. So literally, she's like, no, like, you should come out. And so what we were doing at first, so she was like, you should come out. And I'm like, okay, fine. Like, I'll go say hello or whatever. So what we were doing at first was like taking shifts, because they ended up pulling up to my grandma's house, and they didn't pull up right in front of her house. They pulled up like a couple houses down, like like maybe 2 houses down. And so first I was like, well, let me go out there and just go say hey to him, so he's not out there alone, but I'm not staying out there type stuff. She was like, okay, cool. Like, I understand. So I went out there and I spoke to him. I'm like, hey, what's up? Like, da, da, da. He was like, you know, talking to me. So I was like, okay, well, I'm about to go back in. So I let her go out to be with her dude. And so she go out to be with her dude or whatever. And then she like texts my phone. She's like, you need to come out here. Like, he feel alone. He feel lonely. Like, he wants you to come out here. And I'm like, no, bro. Like, my people's going to wake up and they're going to worry. Like, I told her this. I'm like, look, no, like, they're going to wake up. So she came in. She was like, okay, how about this? How about we like put something in the bed to make it seem like we're sleeping in bed, and turn on the shower to make it seem like I'm in the shower. I was like, at the time, that sounded like a wonderful plan. I'm like, oh my God, you're a genius. That is exactly what we need to do. So, okay, I ended up doing what she said, and then we both went out there. So it was maybe like 11 o'clock at night when this happened. This is about to sound so crazy. Do not do this. This is not the thing to do. If you are a teen watching this is the worst thing to ever do. Worst case scenario. This is terrible. So anyways, we're both in his car. Of course, it's the dude. I guess the dude I was talking to, it was his car, because he was in the front and her and her dude was in the back. So, you know, we're talking, whatever. We're cuddled up, whatever. And like a dummy, I end up falling asleep. Like an idiot. I don't know how, but we all end up falling asleep. Like, we always falling asleep. That's because, you want to know why? We're young. Your behind should have been in that bed. You want to be out and be hot in somebody's car. Okay? So mind y'all, we all went to sleep. We all went to sleep in the car. And it was maybe like, okay, so let me tell y'all how this happened, because this is me doing it verbatim. Mind y'all, they're in the back. I'm in the passenger seat. He's in the driver's seat. We're asleep. I just see, like, something just make me open my eye. I'm on my eye like, oh shit. Oh shoot. We fell asleep, right? Girl, look at the time. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning. So, okay, little backstory. My grandmother, she used to have this job where she used to work at this certain time. She used to work around like 4 or 5 in the morning, to where I would think her body is accustomed to waking up around that time. So it's 4 or 5 in the morning. I look up in the sky and it's literally red and blue lights going. Okay. And mind y'all, I think this was a day before we were supposed to, it's all starting to come back. So we went spend the night at her house because we had a family reunion to go to the next day. Okay. So let me tell y'all. So literally wake up, lights going. I'm like, oh my God. I turn around. It's a police car at my grandma's house. Mind y'all, my grandma, she stayed, I wouldn't say like, I'm not going crazy with it and be like, oh yeah, she in the hood. But my grandma stay in the hood, like, for sure. Like, she stay in the hood. Like, facts. So, it's, the police car is in front of my grandma's house. I'm like, oh my God. So, I'm waking everybody up, like, wake up. So, everybody look and immediately lean back, squatting down, like, oh my God. I felt like I was in a movie. Like, I don't know, my heart was racing so bad. So literally, okay, literally, I'm like, I'm the type to be get in trouble and like want to hurry up and get it over. I'm not going to sit up in here and be like, okay, we're going to hide until the police leave. No, baby, like, we got to rip the Band-Aid off now, because I'm not trying to rip that off later. And my heart be racing. My anxiety be high. I be ready to get it over with. So literally, I'm like, we got to get up out of here. My friend like, nah, bro. Like, nah, we is not getting up out this car. Like, we're standing in this car. I'm like, no, we have to get out of this car right now. So we get out. Mind y'all, in order to have got outside of the house, we have to hop the gate, okay? Yes, we was hopping the gate. We hopped the gate. We did not walk out no front door. We was not on that. We hopped the gate. So I'm walking up to the house, right? They didn't pull it off or whatever. They gone. So we walking up to the house, and as I'm hopping the gate, y'all, this is something that broke my heart completely. And this is why I'm telling all teenagers, whoever, to not like ever do this, because I can only imagine being an adult now, how she felt at that moment. And to be, you know, as her granddaughter, how she felt as that moment as a grandmother. Like, you know what I mean? And as an adult and as a woman. So I hopped over the fence and I looked to the right. And at the time, my grandma had like these screens on her, like, it was like a little area right before you hit the backyard. It was like some screens. You could see right through them. I looked, y'all, my grandma was crying tears. I'm talking about drowning in tears. And that broke my heart in two. And she looked at me and she just shook her head and was just like, and then so the police looked and he was like, okay. He was like, where did she go? And he was like, you know, I'm sorry that everything happened the way it did. He was like, but I'm so glad she's safe, you know. And he ended up leaving. And my grandma was just like, good night. Like, good night. She did not say a word to me, like, at all. She was like, good night. And my aunt was also with her, and she was just like, you don't understand how much you just broke your grandma's heart. Like, and so it's about to make me tear up at that moment, because y'all don't understand, as a woman and as an adult, how she could have felt being in such a, like, an unsafe area and to not know where, like, her grandchild was at. And so, I'm trying not to tear up because it was just such a sad moment to see her face. So anyways, when she said that, I just was so heartbroken. So I lay down and went to sleep, woke up the next morning. She didn't talk to me. She did not talk to me. And so we ended up going to the family reunion. And right after the family reunion, which I usually go to my cousin's house, or they usually come over, or I usually stay like the whole weekend. She was like, hey, I'm going to drop y'all off home. Like, whatever. So in my heart, I'm like, oh my God, like, she's going to tell my mama. She ended up dropping my friend off, never tell her mother anything. She ended up dropping me off. And my mama was confused because she's like, why you coming home early? Like, you usually be there for like a week at least. Like, what are you doing? And so at that moment, I wouldn't say I was a good child. I was very, like, I would get into things, but at least half the time I was pretty honest. And I felt like that this was one of those times where I needed to be honest, because I hurt my grandmother and she didn't tell my mother nothing. She didn't tell her anything. She didn't tell her what happened. But I just felt like it was my responsibility because I knew better. You know what I mean? And so I told my mother what happened, and y'all, that was I got the beat of a lifetime. Okay, it's so crazy because I literally was just like, I didn't do anything like inappropriate with the guy. I didn't do anything. I didn't lose my virginity till I was like 18, senior year. I didn't lose my virginity till senior year. So I'm like, I did not do anything wrong, like, but I did. You know what I mean? Like, I understood why I got in trouble and why I got that whooping, but I also was like, dang, like, I got that whooping for more than what I thought at that time. Now, so yeah, looking back at it, you know, I just cannot believe I did that. And me and my grandma, like, that's my complete best friend. Now, that was years ago, like literally 10 years ago. It happened, went out the window. But I would just say, I think it was absolutely insane for me to have done that. And I think the lie at the time that I came up with was that I was jogging. We went for a run, like, or something at night. Because again, we play sports, we were athletic. So for a couple people, it was a little believable. But for like the people that really knew me and knew my friend, they were like, no. You might have been running, but her ass wasn't running. You know what I mean? Like, not to say they were, but her behind wasn't running or whatever. So yeah, that was the story of the time when I snuck out the house as a freshman and I ended up getting caught and the police was called. I just feel like at this very moment, like, if I was to do, I would want it to go, well, not really want it to go, but I understand completely of why she went to the extent to call the police. Y'all, my grandma stayed in like she was, at the time, it was very, very, very unsafe. It's calmed down a lot because of gentrification, but it was a very unsafe area at the time. And just to think like a 13-year-old or a 14-year-old is out, or what if somebody came in and got them? Like, you never know. And my grandma have really bad anxiety. She don't smoke, she don't drink, so she wasn't thinking like they snuck out. She was thinking more of something happened to them, like I had to have them back, I have to have her back. And she's always been like that. And so yeah, that is just basically that story. I hope y'all enjoyed this story. That was more of my emotional stories, because it did hit me to be very emotional at the end of it. Just at this age, just to think about that like pain I put her through that day. So anyways, yeah, if you would like to see more story times, I will be doing a playlist of all of my story times. You can just click that and then go straight to all my story times. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank y'all so much for viewing my channel. Please, please, please subscribe. Please subscribe. And go check out my Vlogmas videos. I will try to like have them linked somewhere in the bio. So again, thank you and peace out.